Welcome back to Quest for Freedom. It seems like a fantastic time of the year to be talking about this topic, which is mindset freedom, and a topic that we could probably talk about on this podcast again and again and again. And why is that? I think it's because your mindset can set you free. And that's exactly what I've titled this podcast. Your mindset is the foundation that freedom in its widest possible sense comes from. In short, you're the product of your mind. And if you think about that, that means every thought and belief that you have stored inside or that transitions through your mind shapes your experiences of life. Every single thought. Your values and beliefs shape your perception of reality, and as a result, your ability to achieve anything in life. So if you're wanting more freedom, then you have to get your mindset right, or you have to be constantly working on it. And I think that's the real key to mindset. And I've found that over the years that when I'm not focusing on a growth mindset that Carol Dweck talks about, and when I'm not actually actively learning and applying new techniques to grow my mindset, to become more focused, to get rid of those negative thoughts, those comparison game moments, those, oh my gosh, who am I to do this? Things don't go quite as well, and it feels less free in my mind. I'm fortunate that most of the time it's pretty good, but this year in particular, if you're listening to this in 2017, has been a roller coaster in terms of reshaping, losing, and reframing my identity from suitcase entrepreneur to Natalie Sisson, the freedomist who now lives in a beautiful lifestyle location and has just changed my life 180. So you've probably heard through this podcast what I've been through, a business sabbatical, a complete 180-degree shift, and also just, a complete change in what I'm doing and how that fits into my meaning in life and my purpose and what I want to be working on. And for you, you may too also have had quite a full-on year, or perhaps you've gone from strength to strength and you've been really focusing in on what it is within your mind that you can strengthen and what it is that you can quiet so that it makes way for more of those thoughts that allow you to be your best possible self and to give you freedom in your mind. We've all been there. We've had the mind that just chatters on and tells us all the things that we don't really need to hear. It can be our best comrade. It can be our worst enemy. And so much of that is under our control. And I think about that every single time I have an odd reaction to something, like, why did that happen? Most of the time, I'd like to think I'm pretty calm, but I am quite a passionate Aries. And every so often, something will just piss me off and I'll just have this well of emotion fly up and I'll react. And then I'll instinctively straight away go, ooh, where did that reaction come from? Could I have breathed a little before it? Could I have taken a moment before I said something? Actually, often it's not been saying something recently. It's been more an action, like this passion sort of welling up or this decision that I decide to react in that moment. So I probably need to go back and revisit some of the mindfulness freedom from the first season, actually, where I talked through a lot of that. But making decisions in the moment of how we think, of how we act, of how we grow, of how we fundamentally believe is all part of having the right mindset. Well, it's actually all part of what makes up mindset as a definition. And I'm going to read that out to you. So the mindset definition varies across different sources. And in the dictionary, it says it's an attitude, a disposition, or a mood. It also says it's an intention or an inclination. So it can also be described in other dictionaries as a fixed state of mind. So none of these really seem to talk about the true meaning and the real definition of what it is. And so I think a more apt definition is that it's the sum of the way you think. It's how your values and beliefs shape your thoughts and lead you to be the way that you are. Now, when you think about that, that's pretty powerful, right? So it's the sum of the way you think. It's how your values and beliefs shape your thoughts and lead you to be the way you are. And if you think about why this is so freaking important, it's because the way your thoughts lead you to act and behave causes the results you experience in the world. So if you want better results, you have to think and behave differently. And we probably get this drummed into us quite a lot. If you're into people like Tony Robbins, if you're into personal development, if you're reading personal development and growth books, I won't call them self-help, you'll come across a lot of these tactics and tools. You'll look at neuro-linguistic programming, you'll look at regression timeline, you'll look at EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, tapping. I've only touched on a few of these myself throughout my life, and some of them have been really helpful, and then others have dropped off, or some I dived into and I really didn't get going with. And then, of course, there's other tactics like meditation and mindfulness and transcendental meditation and looking at your chakras and all these exciting things, right? Brain waves, binaural beats. It's incredible how much information is out there, and I'll hopefully be presenting some of that more on the Quest for Freedom podcast. But if we come back to the fundamental message here, which is the way you think and feel and the way your thoughts lead you to act and behave causes the results you experience in the world, you can start to see pretty quickly that any time you're having a bit of a shit day, it's most likely because of the way that you are thinking and then acting. So how can you change state? How can you get yourself out of that to get back on track and into a frame of mind that serves you best? I wasn't going to say a positive mindset, because sometimes it's good to be angry. Sometimes it's good to be emotional. But if you can use that and you can channel that into something that really helps you and serves you and helps others, then we're talking about reframing and using your mindset for the power of good or even greatness. And we want to move out of a fixed mindset or a negative or limited mindset into a growth mindset. And I have talked about this a little bit in the past with Carol Dweck, and probably be coming on to some of this. But what I'm most excited about is that I'm bringing on a special guest, a co-host, Osman Sharif, who is my freedom mindset go-to guy. I've had him attend 3 of my last freedom mastermind retreats in Bali and in Portugal. And he honestly has the most amazing set of tools within his armory to be able to help people shift their mindsets in minutes. He is the founder of Rapid Transformation, which can tell you quite a bit about what he does, because he can actually transform people quite rapidly if they're open to it and if they're willing. And so I'm bringing him on the Quest for Freedom podcast, and we're going to be going at it. We are going to be covering off on some really fantastic topics, including comparison-itis, how your mindset can be negatively impacted with those you role model or look up to. We're going to talk about, could you be attempting to solve the wrong problem when it's really your mindset that needs to be transformed? We're going to talk about negative stories. We all have them. So what are we telling ourselves, and how is that impacting or limiting our beliefs? And how is that then impacting the rest of our life? And we're also going to talk about when you're really not in control, and that the unconscious mind is, and how we can tap into that. So these are some of the exciting things we're going to be discussing. I would love for you to tune in every single time we put out a podcast, and that is going to be every Monday and Thursday from now on in. So you're listening to this on a Monday. On Thursday, the next episode will be released, and that'll be Osman and I. So I implore you to subscribe in iTunes, to subscribe in Stitcher, to subscribe in Google Play, to subscribe wherever you are, so that you get these freshly fed into your podcast player. And if not, please come across to nataliesisson.com/26, where you will find this particular podcast show notes, and you can instead subscribe to get email updates, because every single time a podcast goes out, I send it to the people who subscribe to that list first. So you'll get first dibs on the minute it goes out. Also, across at nataliesisson.com, I'm really excited to say I finally have a brand new brand on my website, and I have a beautiful free gift for you, which is the 3 steps to living your perfect day. And a lot of that comes down to mindset and manifestation. So I'm really excited. It's a PDF guide, and it's actually got step-by-step activities within it to get you thinking more on your perfect day and to get you moving towards making that perfect day your reality. So nataliesisson.com, you'll find it straight there on the homepage. Would love for you to check it out. And as I said, this podcast and the show notes are going to be across at nataliesisson.com/26. So once again, this is the new season. It's all about mindset freedom. You've been listening to Natalie Sisson at the Quest for Freedom, and this podcast has been made possible thanks to HostGator. Before I finish, this podcast wouldn't be half as awesome, productive, or freeing without my freedomist friends over at hostgator.com. They want to give your website, your platform, the freedom to be up, present, and visible to all those beautiful visitors you're going to get this year and beyond. So if you want reliable hosting 24/7 with some friendly people who care about your business, then head to hostgator.com/quest and you'll get 50% off any hosting plan. That's hostgator.com/quest for 50% off. Thanks so much for listening in. Thanks so much for supporting HostGator. And thank you for taking a little moment out of your day to get a bit clearer on how to have more mindset freedom. I am so excited at what's in store when we bring Osman in. Tune in on Thursday for the next episode.